speaking of, when you think US, you think Hollywood, you know? You think big flashing lights, And as a film industry, we've grown in leaps and bounds over the last, I would say, decade. Truly, it's been, you know, a renaissance era. And one of the people who has been part and parcel of this renaissance of Kenyan film and taking it to the world and bringing the world to Kenya is Sam Soko, founder of Lightbox. He's in studio with us, award-winning producer, director. Gani ngine umefanya? Good morning, Sam.
Good morning.
It's so good to have you in studio.
It's so good to be here.
Before we get into anything else, let me begin with the day's quote. Janet usually gives us a quote every day. She's away, but she'll be back on Monday. I'm holding fort in the meantime. And today's quote is from Molefi Kete Asante. Molefi Kete Asante, speaking at a USA Afrocentricity event in 1980. Said, until Africans control their own narratives, they will remain captives of other people's imagination. Yeah. What does that say to you? I feel like it's...
That's the gospel.
Right?
That's exactly why you're doing what you're doing.
You just want the organ right there.
For dramatic effect,
For
right?
dramatic effect, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I think that's a good place to start the conversation. What did you watch growing up? What did you consume?
I think let me start by first saying that I'm a very big fan of this show.
Oh, thank you.
So I'm kind of grouping out right here.
Nice, asante. Big fan of you, so it's mutual.
Yeah.
And I think growing up, I grew up in a household where we didn't have electricity. So the idea of what did I grow up watching is a very complicated question. But at the same time, one of the fondest memories I have is watching was a very communal thing. There was that one TV that our neighbor had, and when that's the time for hire purchase, when my parents got a TV for hire purchase, the lights zikipatikana siku inapatikana, you'll be 20-30 people around the TV, waiting for the ritual to cry. No one but you. As in, it was gospel. It was like Tausi.
Tausi.
Exactly. Yeah, you know. So, and every so often, I don't know who exactly was controlling it in terms of the government agency. There were those screenings, the market screenings.
Yes.
Vijana
kaa chini.
I never attended, but it sounded so fun. People keep telling me, and I'm like, what do you mean?
And you know, because you were small, hatukuwa tunakubaliwa to go see. So we had to climb the fence and sit on top of that fence, because somehow you could. It's not even in a language you understand, but the images were like,
there's motion picture.
Right.
There were things, you know. And honestly, I would say that's one of those first moments that you kind of fall in love with the medium. Like it's how it brings people together. And one thing that is, I wouldn't say lost, but kind of forgotten in many ways, is the idea that this is something that's very new to us. Like this idea of congregation around a medium, and being like, yo, let's sit and like listen to a radio play. Let's sit and watch something. We're pretty new in this world and in engaging in this world.
That's very true.
So it's one of those things that I think encourage, and even now continues to encourage us to be like, yo, we're new and we have opportunity, and there's this chance that we have to kind of interpret this medium in our own way. Yeah.
Sam, let me ask you a very mundane question. What is film?
It's always the basic ones that will...
Let me try. So there's two ways you can answer that question. I think I might end up saying there's three ways, but there's two ways you can answer that question. There's a technical way we can answer that question. And the technical way is format. It's like it's broken down in either you're doing short or long content, and short content is technically less than 40 minutes. So anything less than 40 minutes is considered a short, like a short film. A long, aka feature film, is over 40 minutes. So that's a technical interpretation of it. But then you can also see film is an extension of recreation of stories or presentation of stories that can either come in a reel format. Reel is what we call, say, documentary. R-E-A-L.
Okay.
Format, or fiction. Essentially getting actors, recreating, and all of that stuff. The genesis of it, which is now the word film, is based on the actual thing, which was, came from photographs.
Yes.
This thing that could capture pictures.
Right.
And pictures in motion became motion pictures. And then,
if I'm not wrong, was this made by Stitch? You see that some of our viewers may not have ever had a negative or something like that. But that one, and then another one, and then another one
exactly
put together.
It started with a picture, and then when you take pictures sequentially, in a particular speed, which in our terms we call it frame rate, then people could see something in the same way that your eye looks at the image. Yes.
So it starts moving.
So it's moving in motion.
It's taking a photo at
at a particular rate. Yes.
Frame, and it moves.
And it moves.
So that is film.
That's film.
So film and video, same?
Hey, sasa hapo kizungumkuti. Yes and no. The idea of video, or even the term movie, for example, the idea of video came from and maybe I don't know if I'm remembering this correctly, but it came from more or less like a democratization of this thing that was being made. Because in the 50s, before the 50s, the stories were more presented to people through radio. Like, people would sit down, like I alluded earlier to, like, radio plays and stuff. So even the idea of the comedies and stuff, they all came from radio. And then when they moved to TV, when people could have a TV at home, that was like next level.
Yeah.
And advertisers needed to put something
on the TV.
And at the same time, there was a culture of theater, of people going to performance, both for music, that's the opera and all that stuff, but also just plays. So the original kind of motion pictures were essentially presenting what was happening on stages. And it took certain people to kind of start innovating in that line that was like, oh, maybe we can do this like this. And similar to what the mobile phones have done, technology evolved and made certain things more possible, from not having sound to having sound. Because, from days where it was just the picture and someone on the piano right there working through the motions of what you're watching.
And Charlie Chaplin doing
exactly. And to now where literally anyone can put something together
into it.
They're making movies on iPhone now.
So in the present day, the words and terms are generally interchangeable.
Yes.
But a lot of people use film to define more of the craft. Kind of people who professionalizing a certain level or quality or content of what they're developing. And video becomes your kind of rudimentary everyday
exposure. That's the reason I was asking that. Because when you say someone is a filmmaker,
right?
So exactly what do you mean? I mean, a filmmaker and somebody who's just shooting content.
In these streets, honestly, in the streets, anyone and everyone is a filmmaker.
So when you say the Kenya's film industry, are we talking about, TikTok show, all the way to some Soko?
I think it's part and parcel of us trying to determine and define who we are and what we're trying to say. So there's times there's people who come at it and like one of the most contentious one in our industry is people who call themselves cinematographers.
Exactly.
And
they're not videographers.
Exactly. It's like, who's a videographer and who's a cinematographer? And
is a cinematographer a DOP as well?
You see, those are the things. It's like DOP, cinematographer.
And the DOP here is director of
photography. A director of photography. Yeah, I can see how.
He's not a photographer, but a cinematographer.
Right.
And the thing.
A director of, they don't take pictures.
The thing that kind of gets lost in it is there is a craft to it. There is a level of apprenticeship to it. There's a level of someone understanding that this is as malleable a medium as, say, someone doing sculpting, as a painter. And the thing that just makes film a bit more interesting is it aggregates different levels of art. So you kind of have to learn or build on this craft to figure out how to play with the different other types of crafts that come in.
Because it's photography,
exactly,
music, cinematography or videography,
design,
it's design,
it's writing, it's performance. So there's so many levels to it, and so when someone say that they're a cinematographer, the assumption you're making is this person has an understanding and knowledge of playing with light.
Okay.
Because that's what photography is. It's playing with light and capturing images in a way that you can use this light to express what you want to express.
Now, I want to go into the what you want to express, because that speaks then to how industries grow, whether they are taking from what people want and then creating that, or creating and telling the people, take this. And I'll begin with the Kenyan film industry, which has produced amazing works, some of which are very local, are very well known locally. Others, we only get to hear of them if you exist in certain circles, and then they go international. But let me speak to how to choose what to make. I begin with like your first feature, Softy. A lot of people have watched and know it, but then I feel like internationally, the name is a lot bigger. And that gap always, for me, it always messes with my mind. One of my good friends, you know him, Josh, as well. Great short film, has gone to every festival that can be named. And then locally, it's like, Jua what? Jua Kali. Who knows that one? Please speak to that.
So I will say this whole conversation starts with the idea that the lenses in which we tell our stories have never been ours from the jump. This is not a medium, it's a medium introduced to us.
Right.
And film is not a cheap medium. It has a clear monetary barrier for entry. It's very obvious.
Just minimum. Give us a number, like
it's
a short film.
Before we came in, we were doing like basic math. If like a student wanted to make a film, and the thing is, most of the time they don't quantify how much it costs because they're asking for favors and all that stuff. But we are like, at minimum, they need like 100K. Whether it's written down as 100K or not, or it is 100K. It is 100K minimum.
Yes.
And whenever they show this, the first thing someone will tell them was like, "Ay, lakini equality, eh, no?" Yes. And it's because there's a barrier of entry just for that.
Right.
And what's causing this? Is it the equipment?
It's many things. It's honestly, it's many things. It's and speaking about this, the lens that we come into this space is that this lens is defined by the money.
Okay.
Where the money comes from is what defines what's getting made. So how do you get this money to do this? And the major cause of that, I think, in my opinion, is beyond film, we think of art as something peripheral. We've somehow got to a point where there's like a universal African, not even Kenyan, understanding of like art is that thing the artists do, you know. And
it's not something I
it's not
I participate in.
And we forget that we and art are one thing.
Right.
We can't be like, yo, you this and no, because you live here, you want to listen to a song. We are all in that space. Yeah. So because we put this thing in the peripheral, anything that's put in the peripheral will highly likely be expensive. Anything that's put in the peripheral will mean the education of it is not good.
Yeah.
So it's always different.
Yes. It's an afterthought almost.
Exactly. It's like, so that you have even the standards of teaching film or theater or any one of these spaces in Kenya and most of African countries is really like very disconnected
from reality
to what's actually happening. And so you have people who either leave this country to go study film, and when they go study film and they get this really good education, implementation becomes a whole other thing, because kwa ground, as we always say,
it humbles you. Ground inakuhumble.
Yes, it does other things. So it becomes that there are many reasons why it's expensive, because the education of it is expensive, the infrastructure of it is expensive, not to sing the same song, policy, government, all of that stuff is almost
non-existent.
Yeah, it's like, it's pretty more paper
than
implementation, or more of like we're discussing, this is in cabinet, this is like, that's basically how it works. So what that leaves most people depending on grants, on donations, on favors. And I don't think you can build an industry or a structure on grants or favors or philanthropy. So
can't build an industry on favors and grants.
That's the long or short of why it's expensive.
Yeah.
As you're continue talking, we are looking at some pictures on the screen, and there's some of your work.
Oh,
right?
Wow.
Some work that you've done.
Because it's the disparity that you were talking about that exists is sadly has created a kind of schism in the industry where we kind of believe, or we kind of make content that doesn't translate across each side. So the content we make locally does very well locally, but literally only works within the Kenyan boundaries and the Kenyan diaspora. Or the content that people can make to be like, yo, this can work in European markets or American markets. When it comes back, someone's like, what is this?
I don't relate.
Yeah, it's I can't connect.
What's the fix? Because you're absolutely, I'd actually not thought about it from...
Pantambua.
Yeah, there's some weird boundaries there. It's inside, it works inside, it can't go outside. If it's working outside, suddenly it doesn't do well at home.
But this is by a Kenyan team. Because we consume a lot of foreign content.
And that's what's the fix, what's the many fixes that are needed. So it's many things that need to be done.
Yeah.
And one thing we've learned, like with Lightbox LBX, is because we, like all the other people, we came in, you dive in and you go. And when you're inside, it just hits you hard because you're like, yo, I'm trying to do this, but there's a ceiling.
Yeah. There's somewhere I'm getting to, and then
you're like,
I can't.
You can't go beyond that.
Yeah.
And you're getting all this feedback at the same time. For example, you're making the thing we're saying about congregating films, right?
Right.
The number of films that we make are merely not even close to being enough. So we can barely retain a consistent pattern of making films.
Okay.
Because you have, say, like everybody likes talking about Half-Life. And then somehow there was Darkness. And then you're like, this is Supermodo. It's not like there are not other films. There are other films.
But it seems like there's one big film every 2 years.
Exactly. And that's not how we grow.
Yeah.
And one big way that we have to do, and the thing we have to change, and again, this is not sounding like a broken record, is it has to start here. The foundation has to start here, the investment has to start here, and all of us, every single participant engaged in all these spaces, has to start looking at film or this industry as a business.
We hear that a lot. In fact, I was just looking through my notes, and in March we hosted Makoma Kizaya, who is also another filmmaker. He said the same thing. It has to be invested here. But then paint that business picture.
Business picture.
Yes. For an investor.
And make a business case.
Tell me not to go and buy us 50 by 100 and put money in a film.
Yeah, or not to put up another mall.
Yeah,
I would be, and you know we have. It all goes down to value, and what we define as value, and us believing that everybody in this chain of what we are doing deserves value. This idea that your audience needs to watch what you're making merely because I'm Kenyan. I'm like, guys, no. You know, it's you.
See hashtag buy KE, build KE. You know,
I'm
all
like,
the
that's a bonus.
Okay.
For me, that's plus.
But it can't be just because it's KE.
Because it's KE, because just because your fundi doesn't know how to do a good job, you're not supporting them just because they're KE.
Yeah. That's
you know,
true.
you can't trauma bond with your mechanic.
Yeah.
And they keep messing up your car. And you're just going back because
he's your neighbor.
Yeah, he came from your village. So, guys, let's go.
I was actually having this conversation with someone yesterday, and they're trying to tell me, but he's honest, you know. I'm like, this person serviced your car
like,
and forgot brake pads. What do you mean? Anyway, we're bare minimum.
But I'm like, no. So let's first understand and believe that our audience is fundamental to the work we're doing. Our audience is the key to unlocking all these things that we're doing.
Right.
And we have to honor, appreciate, and respect our audience. At the same time, the audience has to honor and appreciate the filmmaker, the person who's making this work.
Yeah.
Because doing this work, it's work.
It's heavy work.
It's heavy work. It takes so much. Both emotionally, all those things. And as we said, there's a barrier of entry to make it.
Yes.
So for us to make content that works across the board, it is important for there to be an understanding that when you want me to do something that's amazing, or I want to make something that's amazing, there's going to be a cost attached to it. So
there's value both ways. So you give me value, right? And I'm willing to pay for said value.
Yes. And how do I convince an investor with that?
Yes.
We have to collect data. We have to start somewhere where we are like, we screened this film and 20 people came and we made 2,000 shillings. That's where we are. I remember seeing, I can't remember exactly where I saw it, is like, the first step in progress is owning where you are. And as an industry, as a people, as all these things, it's like we have to own where we are as an industry. Where we are as an industry is most of our education is technical. It's like your script starts like this, you write like this, it goes like this.
Your story must have a protagonist
and an antagonist.
Yes.
It's this thing that it's very technical. And the challenge to that, we have demonized teaching things like philosophy. We've demonized teaching things like history. And what that does is we've demonized talking about ourselves. So the kind of content that we make at the moment is about discussing how bad we are.
Oh my gosh.
How ugly we are. How terrible things are.
God.
Like, you would sit down and watch something. I remember watching this thing that was speaking about, I know if they watch this, they're going to laugh. They were watching this, it's about widows in the village, I think somewhere in Siaya or something. And And it was like, yeah, things are so bad. The people in the city have forgotten us. We really want the government, the local, all these people to come and support us. This was a proper 20-25-minute film. And it was like, yeah, what are, you know, have you found any way to help yourself? It's like, us, it's just prayers. That's all we are doing.
Waiting for the government and the people in the city.
In the city too. And then and the whole 20-25 minutes, at the end, we're having this conversation with this filmmaker. And I'm like, at any point you were doing all this work, did these people laugh? At any point.
No
At
way.
any point, do you mean, like, is this their life? Is this how they exist?
This is their everyday.
Is this, like, if you Google Kenyan film right now, you would think we are surrounded throughout. It's like Nairobi is just hell. Like, you come out of the airport and someone's gonna snatch your wallet. As in, the type of stories we are telling are definitive of what we think we are.
We are, yeah.
And the reality is, and I'm willing to bet.
How do we not whitewash, for lack of a better word, our realities as well? Because I could just be walking down Moi Avenue with my phone.
Tell the truth. Tell the whole truth.
What are the probability? Like, when was the last time?
I had about phone snatching.
Yeah.
No, but
Sorry,
I'm like,
someone attempted on the
She was
weekend.
about-
so it's like, this is raw deal on the week. But I'm like, did you wake up feeling like my phone is going to be snatched today?
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You were probably like, whoo, Sato. You know, this is, so for me, how do we do that? Let's look at ourselves in full view. We're 3D. We're all these things.
Tell the truth, yeah.
Exactly.
Paint
Just
an
tell the
accurate
truth.
picture.
Paint a true picture. Paint a picture that's more aspirational
than it is
because that's not
degrading.
Otherwise we don't exist. Otherwise we're not waking up in the morning.
Yes.
But if most of our stories are speaking in that level and they're kind of pushing this kind of narrative, then what are we telling not only ourselves but our kids? Because consequently, when we live here, when we are like, man, today is such a hard day, let me go to this video, watch this thing. Sadly, unfortunately, what we watch is not our content. Because from the jump, from when the kids grow up, you would be shocked how little content exists about Black children. How little content exists about aspirational conversations about Black kids, that you don't have something that exists that tells a Kenyan kid that they can be an astronaut. They have to watch something that tells them this kid from, I don't know, LA or whatever, is like, has the dreams to be president, not of Kenya, of the United States of America.
They don't see anyone that looks like them.
Exactly.
With aspiration.
So from the jump, Cocomelon is in an English accent.
It is.
If it's like,
And the children are
it's
like,
in a
Mommy,
British.
can I get a bottle of water?
Exactly.
Like, okay.
I'm like, yo. But these are the kind of stories we are currently telling, and we are kind of reflecting on ourselves.
Hey, shida ni nyingi. Now I do wonder what informs us to make stories like those. Are we as consumers now, and I'm thinking of us as consumers, are we not accepting, or do we not consume content that is authentic? Are we just like, that's a little artsy for me, or, you know, I want it to just look like a Hollywood movie, but with Kenyan actors. I just want it to be Romeo and Juliet, but it's, you know, Mariam and
somewhere from Turkana.
You know, that one. That's it.
It's possible. And the way it's possible is by us investing in this content here and believing that the people here are capable of buying and accessing this and want this content. And it's the content creators, in this case the filmmakers, and also owning the fact that we need to do that. And we need to convince the investors that if I make a film that can speak to a family, it's something families will leave their home or spend that 100, 200 bob or 500 bob, 1,000 bob to watch, because it's stuff I want my kids to watch. and stuff I can enjoy to watch with my kids.
Right.
And it's that's the thing. That's the value. It's a value chain, and we need to give value and receive value and own that, all of us together.
Speaking of, in the world of film, in entertainment, in the world of actually the arts, the accolades are such a big deal. You've been blessed enough to get some of those accolades. Sorry, your short film was a nomination at the Academy Awards, right?
It's our production companies.
Oh yes, yes. And as well, you sit in the Academy. You're a member of the Academy.
Yes.
To explain here, because sit not draw Oscars. Then people are like, "What Academy is this? And what grades must I have to qualify for the Academy?"
To be in the Academy. Now fees ni how much?
Right? How much? And how that plays into how we build our industry, and then of course how do we build our own? Because the Oscars are the Oscars. We'll always be a visitor at the Oscars.
And I think it's a massive privilege to be, because with the Academy you are invited, so you're not part of the process.
Right.
You basically
Unapata tu barua.
Unapata barua at the same time inakuwa announced.
Oh, they don't even give you a heads up?
No.
Okay.
So you are as shocked as the rest of the world.
Wow.
Nice.
And,
Okay, that's...
and it's a massive privilege, and there's really other amazing Kenyans also there, and it kind of speaks
How many
to
Kenyans actually?
I think we're now 7.
That's
I think
amazing.
7.
Who are what?
So the Academy is, I think right now there may be around 11,000 members around the world.
It's called the Academy.
No, it's the Academy of Motion Pictures and Arts and Sciences. And it represents different branches.
You know, I was so amazed at the 7 Kenyans, but out of 11,000 guys, we need to do Bera. We need to do Bera.
I just want to understand first.
We did.
These 11,000.
Well,
where are they? What are they? I mean, so the Academy is.
So it's around the world. I think in mostly in the US, primarily because that's kind of where it started. But it's different branches from different arenas and areas of film. So we have from actors, directors, producers, editors. I'm in the documentary branch. I think there's 3 of us in the documentary branch. There's a Kenyan who's in the VFX, visual effects branch. As in,
That's amazing.
the idea is that there's all this. I think for me, it's a representation of there's incredibly talented Kenyans out there in here. Most of them are actually based here.
Yes.
And they're all working to build foundations or be part of foundations of growing an industry.
Okay.
And as difficult as it is and it sounds, they're all trying to do that.
Okay.
And the thing with, I think we kind of, awards are great, yes, but we get fixated in them and forget that to build something, it has to grow. You need the foundation. You have to nurture it. You have to grow it. You have to give it time. I equate where we are as an industry as kind of like we're teenagers in this moment.
I like that.
At
We're
least-
finding ourselves.
We're finding ourselves.
At least we're old enough to be teenagers.
Yes, we compared to a lot of other potentially say African countries, Kenya's not. It's not bad. Like we have pretty good in terms of access of equipment. We have really high access of equipment. In internet, we have really good internet. Like there's a lot of opportunity that exists in this space, but the reality is our market is a dot.
Yeah.
Like the Kenyan market is tiny.
A tiny
Nothing.
dot.
So the thing in terms of the work and the development of content and all the things that we're doing, we kind of have to do the Pan-African thing.
I have so many questions.
You have to make for a bigger market.
Just before you even go, I still didn't get what this academy does. Are you the guys who
Me too.
who decide who wins Oscars?
Yes. That's
So-
the long of the short.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so now the 7 of you are inducted into the Academy.
Yes.
Sort of, right? And now you're 11,000 of you
A give or take.
around there.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
So there's many things. The bigger thing is voting for.
So
for
you're
the
the
Oscars.
ones who vote?
Yes.
Only you, 11,000 of you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you vote for your
category.
category first, and then vote for the nominations as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else?
There's like a lot of teaching. There's a lot of engagements in kind of fostering.
So there's
film.
training and
of course, like the networking conversations around film, growing this connectivity between, like, you know, now there's a film industry in Kenya. By virtue that we're there, there's this knowledge of like, oh wow, there's things that are happening in this space, and kind of fostering that network, even not only in that space, because there's also a community within the African space. So there's also members within the African space, and kind of growing the influence and engagement of this community as well.
Okay.
I see. Iko na pesa?
Thank you for asking the important questions.
Oh, we wish. We wish. We wish.
But it's a big name.
It's a big thing that, you know, you're participating in this, and now you're also getting exposure into it. Do you get to influence who gets nominated, or are you just voting for the nominees?
Ni wewe na kura yako. For both.
For both.
So for your branch, so like for the documentary space,
yes.
And that's why being invited, you're invited by your peers. So you're not like, it's not
random or
si ati utadeclare sasa mimi nimesimama kiti ya no. So it's your peers based on, you know, the work that you're doing, and that's why it's more or less always a surprise, because it's the work that you're doing and you continue to do. So that being part of the academy doesn't it not even touch the work that. So it's more of like, oh wow, this is an amazing recognition. But now it's more of like, okay, I'm just going to be louder in what we're trying to do.
Okay.
Yes.
Mariam said, we are 7, we ought to do better. Do you agree? And what impact would that have on the Kenyan film industry?
I don't think we need. I think for me, we shouldn't look at it that way.
Okay.
I think for me, better is we need to make more films. We need to give people value. Like, filmmakers need to earn from what they're doing and make enough to dream and grow and just kind of build futures. The same with audiences need to be nurtured and nourished with content that speaks to them and about them, that isn't. It takes, to make the feature film that you were saying, the Hollywood one, that you would be like, wow, inaka quality kopoa. At the present moment, it takes you between 4 to 7 years to do it. In the way the current modalities in how people work and make these films.
Right.
So the tiers that you were talking about at the beginning, you have your I would say low budget type of content. So those low budget type of content, they would take, I don't know, you're given like a very tight timeline to make it. There's 3 to 6 months maybe, if you're lucky. Some you're called this weekend.
Film, by the way, don't consider 3 to 6 months a tight timeline,
Aye.
because when you don't know how much goes into making a film.
So
3 to 6 months, bana.
To give you context, the films at least I've been a part of, Softy took us 7 years. Free Money took us 5 years. We just released another film by a Zimbabwean filmmaker called Matabele Land. Took us 7 years. So it's
You can see those
this
time
is
frames.
the time frames that we work to do, and all those films work really well internationally. But the different thing that we did is we picked the type of stories that we're telling. We picked a way in which they are also speaking to the local markets,
Right.
and making them accessible to the local markets, and trying to bridge those gaps. For, like, say, Softy was the biggest film when it came out that year. Last year, The Battle for Laikipia was one of the biggest films that came out last year. And these are all kind of local stories told in a very international standard, but kind of bring it to that space. But Battle for Laikipia is another 7 years. So
I see that.
It's
That localization bit, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I didn't want this question to escape me, because why did the Kenyan industry reject Riverwood?
It hasn't rejected Riverhood. That's the truth.
Especially the name.
Not the
thing
concept,
is, not the idea of a
it's more,
Riverwood.
honestly, it's more for, when you make something, you need to make money back. That's the truth. Because you're putting, like, again, entry. So if I'm putting in 200, 300,000, say 500,000 in a project, if that project doesn't bring back 500,000, I'm at a loss.
Yes.
So you want me to go again and do it. It's like there's no business that would survive if you're talking about it like that. And especially in a space where, in Europe, for example, a lot of this work is subsidized by government. Like, governments have very clear funds that feed onto these industries, whereby what we call low budget can be fully financed by you just getting money from either money from the Nairobi County, the Nairobi County Film Fund, or the National Film Fund. And because these funds exist, these countries sign deals with other countries that have the same system. So those, we call them co-production treaties. So because Kenya doesn't have anything like that, so that means we can't benefit from anything like that. So South Africa has something like that. And South Africa's industry, all the nice things people talk about their industry, a big benefit of that is because they have a fund locally that allows them to tap into co-productions with the Canadians, with the Dutch. So it allows them to make this high quality content that feeds.
It's a place to start, for sure. It feeds into the industry as a whole.
Who finances the fund?
It's public money.
So it's taxpayer.
Yeah,
we have a sports fund.
The British have some. They have a lottery. So the money that goes. Part of the money for the lottery,
goes into
partly
this.
that funds their film fund.
There was an idea to establish a national lotto in Kenya, and actually a task force was established, and they did a report, and they gave it back to the president. This president, it's not a Kitambo thing. It was 2 years ago. It was to establish a lotto, so that lotto would then have these funds that can go into some of this into creative industry, supporting the creative. So that's the kind of thing.
It's the idea. But the thing also, we just need to remember the space in which we work in, the trust levels are on the ziko chini sana.
Yes.
What do we need to do about that?
We need to be vulnerable and take the leap. We don't have a choice. That's the truth. I think it's those things for, we can have all the best systems as possible. We can have committees that have the right people. We can have all those things, but there's the reality of we are where we are, and corruption still exists. But that doesn't mean because corruption exists, we don't need to invest in the arts. Like, we need to look at the systems in the schools and be like, what are these people being taught? We need to have and even just conversations with media houses as well, in the level of, if you invest in the right content, I guarantee you will get audiences. But if you're not investing in the right content and we're just piggybacking on what everybody's doing, we're just in the same cycle. Tunaendelea tu rat race.
I think it needs to start from the education system, for sure. Because I'm thinking of a generation that values film, that is willing to pay for it, that has also learned philosophy and has a basis. So it's not just technical, like you said earlier. It's okay, fine, the internet works fast and the cameras are good, but what story?
What story do we tell? What story are we telling?
I think that's a good place to start. But then for us now who are in the industry and are in a position to support the industry, what are our individual fixes? I want to go from I'm in the industry myself in one way or the other. 2, I'm in policy, government, etc. 3, I am a consumer, and I'm by virtue of that, I'm also an artist. But yeah, I'm a consumer.
I'd say convince your rich friends, and that guy. See, you know that guy. Yeah, that guy. Just be like, yo, I know these guys who make films, and they might have, and based on the data we have.
Thank you.
To be honest, based on the data we have, it is absolutely possible to invest even 10, 15, 20 25, 30 million in projects and get that money back. It is possible.
Get that money back plus profit? Because I'm not here to...
Plus between 15 to 20% profit.
Okay.
I think that's what you need a lot more of, that marketing. Maybe it's your job, maybe it's a job of the Kenya Film Commission, but there's a lot of that needs to happen.
And kind of balancing, shifting this seesaw balance of where whenever we talk about film from a government level is more of like selling Kenya as a film destination. I'm like, yo, we're not in the 80s anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not trying to mess anybody's thing, but I'm like, Kenya's beautiful, right? Kenya has so many things and so many stories that Kenyans can tell. But we need to shift this lens where Kenyans only tell the sad stories, and then it's the people from outside that tell Kenya's beautiful story.
Yeah. Us, we just woye.
You know, to be like, wow, I watched this film. Kenya is so beautiful. Yeah. And then when you see
have you seen Out of Africa?
And then when you watch the film made by the Kenyans, it's like, wow, I'm scared. If I come, do I need to take a mosquito?
Prophylaxis.
Prophylaxis. As in, because it's like this. There's an idea or this mentality that somehow we are the ones who are supposed to be like, we tell this raw, painful truth. But then it's the outsider who will come to tell this and magical.
Like, have you seen a Homer Bay sunset, you guys?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
and be like, hi, Jumbo. But some of the things that we are all, and it's not me, just there's a lot of filmmakers, including myself, is also working with filmmakers, including in the US, to start deconstructing this idea of being a Kenyan filmmaker and not a filmmaker.
Yes.
That I have the right, as much as the person who's coming from the other side, to make a film there as they have here. And we've been blessed to have, like, I'm working with a collaborator whom we just finished a short film that we shot in Florida, in the US. And it has nothing to do with me being Kenyan.
Nothing. You're a filmmaker.
It's just me being a filmmaker.
Beautiful.
And that's what we need to kind of build on.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, Sam. I'm sorry to cut you short.
No, it's all good.
Completely out of time, but I'm so grateful for the insight. I think these conversations do need to happen so that we don't box. You know, sometimes you're in a box and you're not even aware, right? And unless someone taps and wakes you up, you could just continue existing in your little limbo. But it's so good to have you. Of course, we have to have like part 2 and part 3 of these conversations. But that's Sam Soko. He is co-founder at Lightbox, award-winning film director, producer, and of course, a member of the Academy of 11,000 people. No, I'm kidding. We're going on to Your World now. Winnie and of course, we actually have both hosts. We have Winnie and Wekali. They are in studio, ready. Conversation leo ni juu ya nini, Mr.
Rising
Latin.
stars who are redefining the spotlight.
I like that.
Tomorrow's icons. They'll be unveiling the new faces of fame. They'll be unveiled shortly.
Sawa.
The new faces of fame.
Tukwe ready.
Tukwe ready.
Tuko macho.
Yes.
Tuko macho. Tupatane Monday at 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. for Fixing the Nation. We'll be back with Jano. But for now, enjoy your weekend.